Race 2 on the card is the Back Chat MR 102 handicap over 1,200 metres, off at 12.25. It is the first leg of the bipot and our first co-mingle race with Hong Kong. We're co-mingling races 2 through to 9. Tough handicap to open up the bipot. Before we analyse the form, let's hear from Dean Cannemeyer, Vaughan Marshall and Peter Muscat.
Yeah, legitimate. I'm running him over 1,200 metres. He's a horse that hasn't run for quite some time. He did run in the Derby in Cape Town. That was his last run. He jarred himself up in the Derby and was had a slight setback, so he was off for about a month. And 1,200 is too sharp for him, but I've got to start somewhere because the season is here. And we're almost in the middle of the season, and he's a horse that's looking for 1,600 and 2,000 metres. But he did run a very good race in the Politician Stakes. I exposed him there, he ran second. And he got about a £20 penalty for that. As you can see, he's a one-time winner for 101. But 1,200 metre race will do him good, and after this I'll put him over more ground. But he'll be doing good work at the finish.
Yeah, Sheldon, I thought he was desperately unlucky, with interference and nearly coming down. And he ran a very creditable race. It was his second start in the province. And I think he's come on a lot since then. So I'm looking forward to a very good run from him on Saturday.
Kaisen has disappointed his last couple of starts. We've had a couple of foot issues with him, which I think we're on top of now. He's certainly not giving of his best, and with the lightweight and with Warren Kennedy aboard, I'm hoping to see a turnaround in his form. His draw is awkward, but he has got good natural gate speed, so hopefully he can overcome that. And we're just hoping for an improved performance from him. Sunset Eyes is probably in his last preparation. He's been a great horse for the stable. Hasn't won in a long time, but he is way down in the handicap and grade. It's probably the weakest race he's run in for a couple of years now. He was allotted 64.5, so we've opted to put promising young apprentice Caden Brewer on, who claims 4. Also has the awkward draw to overcome. But if he overcomes that without spending too much petrol early, I think he can be competitive.
Well, you heard from Peter Muscat there. Obviously quietly fancies number 13, Sunset Eyes, to run a big race despite the poor draw. And you also heard from Vaughan Marshall making reference to the interference that Gainsford suffered in full flight handicap, Warren. It was quite severe interference. He was travelling well at that stage. Gainsford is the ruling favourite at 9-2. They are betting 9-2 the field, a clear indication of how tough this race is. But he is my first choice. I think he's worth following, but I've got healthy respect for number 5, Good Rhythm. Those two would be my top 2 choices in a very competitive race. Before I get a comment from you, we heard there from Dean Cannemeyer that Legitimate steps out over a trip too short for him, but he's finding market support. Interesting, from 7-1 into 11-2. He will also race with a compression mask. But this is the kind of race that's very competitive. But my top choice is certainly number 9, Gainsford, but not with a great deal of confidence.
Very competitive event, as you've suggested. Very, very tough. Legitimate, although he's finding support, to be quite frank, I would be surprised if he were to win. But in saying that, they're all in the race, they've all got a chance and they can win. But I give Legitimate more of a place chance than a winning one. I'd like to see him, and I'm expecting to see him running on to finish 3rd or 4th, hopefully. But for me, Good Rhythm could set the standard. Again, not with too much confidence. That second to Spider's Corner is what jumps out at me. And just his overall consistency is what I like about Good Rhythm. He was very, very unlucky in his last start. Unlucky in the sense that he was stiff. I do respect Gainsford, and even number 3, Mr. Fitz, has got to have some sort of a chance. A competitive race, I'll be taking boxed exact as Good Rhythm and Gainsford.
Certainly Good Rhythm would be deserving of a victory in a race of this nature. He's been an absolute model of consistency. And of course, purely on the in-full flight handicap form, he's got number 9, Gainsford, safely held. But Gainsford did suffer quite severe interference. There's also been a bit of support around for number 1, Via Solaria. Obviously, Shane Humby's 2 runners, Mr. Fitz and Wayward. Love Bomb can improve, Goliath Heron. And obviously Sunset Eyes. It's a competitive start to the bipot. Both Warren and I fancy 5 Good Rhythm and 9 Gainsford, but I'm not suggesting that those 2 will be enough to get you through the first leg of the bipot.